Exciting. So, good evening, ladies, and good evening first to Jane. Welcome to the quick video this evening that we're doing for people who may not know much about your Life Less Ordinary Weekender that we're running soon.
Absolutely, and introducing a exciting aspect about it as well, which is really, really cool, which is why there's a third person hovering at the bottom who will introduce you to in just a second. But it's not long to go, Jo.
No, a couple of months, Jane. Hey, and we're, by my count, we're already half full, which is quite exciting, isn't it? Only a few places left.
Exactly. It's really, really super. And the people who have signed up already seem to be super excited about it as well, which is really good, generating a bit of buzz around it and getting involved in the conversations over on Instagram and things, which is really cool.
It's really exciting. It kind of, when that happens, you know you're doing the right type of thing, don't you? And you know you're going down the right path. So that's really exciting. And fingers crossed, we're going down the right path by working with Ellie. I don't know how you feel about that, Jane.
Well, let's put her to the test, shall we, Jo? Shall we introduce her a little bit and take her through her paces? Good evening, Ellie.
Good evening. I'm a bit scared now.
That's okay. You're allowed to be scared. You're allowed to be scared. Do you want to begin just by telling us a little bit about yourself? Nothing too personal, you know, don't go mad, but just tell us a little bit about you and what you do and maybe a bit about your family.
Okay, yeah, right. Well, I'm Ellie. I'm a mum of 3, and like that doesn't keep me busy enough. I own and run a carpentry business with my husband, mainly doing the books, but occasionally on site, much to his displeasure.
I've seen you with a nail gun, Ellie.
I'm amazing with a nail gun.
I bet you are.
And a chop saw. I'm quite good with it. But yeah, I've got my finger in a couple more pies. I make celebration cakes for people. And I'm also training to be a personal trainer because I love fitness and helping other people keep fit.
What I love about that combination, Ellie, is that you do make the most knockout cakes, and I think they're probably quite calorific and they look amazing. So I like that you have a sideline of making incredible cakes and then burning it off afterwards.
Absolutely. It's all about balance, isn't it? I mean, life's miserable if you don't eat what you enjoy. So eat the cake and work it off afterwards. That's what I say.
Absolutely. And I love that that is your ethos. When we talk about your business Fearless Transformations, you do talk about how to be conscious of what you're eating and what you're doing, the way you're moving, but in a way that absolutely is very you. So you will say about the nutritional benefits while having a gin in your hand, which I think just provides a perfect balance and probably will resonate with quite a few of the women who come on our weekend.
Absolutely. I mean, I love to eat healthy. I love to exercise, but I also bloody love a gin or a prosecco or a vodka or some wine. I love it, and I like to enjoy myself. I don't like to restrict anything. I'm massively against restricting yourself because it just makes you miserable. There's no fun in cutting out what you like. So it's all about finding that balance between the good stuff and then learning how to manage it.
Absolutely. I love that because it means we can have as many glasses of wine as we like, Ellie, and that's bloody good news.
Yes. Absolutely.
Talking about that, are you the wine sommelier at your Life Less Ordinary Weekend, or what is your role?
Well, I can be the wine sommelier if you'd like me to. I can always recommend a good Merlot but I am going to bring some delicious, nutritious food to the weekend for everybody to enjoy. We're going to have seasonal produce. We're going to have stuff that tastes fantastic, but actually is also quite healthy for you because, you know, you can't skimp on taste. If you're going to eat your food, you want to enjoy it. There's no point having a bowl of dishwater as soup and saying, oh, it's really good for me. You know, that's just not good. So that's what I'm going to bring to the weekend for everybody.
It's fantastic.
And I love the way, Ellie, when you go into your house, in the kitchen area is massive. It's like you've knocked down basically the rest of the house to have a massive kitchen, which is marvelous. And then there are like 3 fridge freezers in a row with all the stuffing to bake or make anything you could possibly want at any point in time. And I think the thing I love about your food, Ellie, is that it's full of energy, but again, it's nourishing you and it's healthy for you. So it's not high fat, it's not going to make you feel sluggish afterwards. It makes you feel energized afterwards. And I think that's really important when you're on a weekend and nourishing your mind and your body and your spirit, to be nourishing it with food as well. So yeah, I cannot wait to see what you cook up for us.
It's going to be lovely. Yeah, definitely. And so I'm really intrigued as well about the work that you do around food and around, I think you talk about yourself as part of that as well, and then what women can get from food and why it's so important for women to eat well. So I'm really curious as to your take on that.
Oh, it's massively important, because your nutritional needs change throughout your life. I mean, as a young girl, you're going to need plenty of calcium and iron and lots of calories to keep you going. And then obviously that's going to change as you get older, and you know, there's certain cycles in your life where you're going to need different vitamins and minerals. You know, when you're pregnant, you're going to need extra vitamins and folic acid and things like that. And you can take all of this from your food. I mean, it's great to add supplements as well, but it's even better to get as much from your food as possible and make things as natural as you can, and also great tasting. And then as you go through life, you know, you're going to hit conditions like polycystic ovary syndrome and endometriosis and stuff. So you're going to need extra iron and different vitamins to cope with things like that. And then the dreaded menopause comes in, boom, and we lose a lot of our nutrients. So it's important to top those up and bring in extra things to kind of avoid things like brittle bones and stuff like that. So I love sort of looking into this sort of thing and trying to find out what foods we can use, and different types of the year as well, and how you're feeling, your hormones. There are foods that can massively boost you and make you feel so much better. Recently learned that turkey is full of selenium, which is really, really good for making you happy, isn't it? So I think that's the right one. But yeah, it's just, there's so much that you can take from food and bring it to make your life better.
Yeah, we know about that, like emotional, hormonal bit. And I think my cycle through the month, there are things that my body craves at different times. Some days it's like orange juice for 3 days solid, and I know that I'm needing those vitamins and that vitamin C at that point in my cycle. And I think depriving yourself or being aware that you need those things is a really important thing. And to allow your body to need those things and nourish it is a really good awareness, isn't it?
And what you'll find out about hanging out with Ellie at the retreat as well is if you kind of just milling around and she's there, every so often she'll just throw this wonderful tidbit about some food into the mix. So I've fairly recently been diagnosed with diabetes, and went away with Ellie and Joe for a weekend, which was lovely. And every so often Ellie would go, you should try this kind of food, you know, because that's very good for diabetes. And this one is very, very good at lowering your blood sugar. And she'll just throw these tidbits in, which is so relevant and useful. So yeah, definitely hang out with Ellie on the weekend and find out what all the good stuff is.
Oh, I'm totally about helping people just improve their lives through food. I mean, you know, everybody likes food. If it's going to make your life better, let's get all over that.
Absolutely.
And I think the people who are signed up to the retreat already know that they're going to get a really amazing goodie bag and set of things to take away with them. And certainly I can imagine some of those are going to be some awesome recipes and ideas for energy food from you, Al.
Yep, I'm creating recipes left, right and centre at the moment. So I'm definitely going to be throwing a few of those into the goodie bag. And I am sort of tentatively working on a cookbook. So, you know, that will pull together and chuck in some freebies for you. So
amazing. Yeah, tentatively, full steam ahead working on it.
I'm on it.
So actually, if you're on the retreat, you're tasting the food of the next Diana Henry or Jamie Oliver or whoever your preference is as a cook or chef, which is really exciting.
We are very, very lucky to have you, Al. I think that not just as a person who's got so much experience with food and with health and with everything else, but I just think your personality is exactly what you just described. You love supporting people, you love helping people, and you're just so very generous with your time. So I think we're deeply blessed to have you.
Oh, I'm absolutely buzzing to be part of it. I can't wait.
It's going to be amazing.
Absolutely. And we're fully launched now, Jane, aren't we? We're fully open for bookings. We did a bit of a waiting list thing where we've half filled the Weekender, but now we're fully open to people who weren't on that waiting list. So if anyone wants to find out a little bit more, they can drop us a line about that, because we have a few spaces left up for grabs.
Absolutely. And really happy if you want to have a chat with either or any of us, if you've got any questions, or you just want to kind of have a voice to voice conversation rather than reading it on Insta or watching the video or whatever, we're absolutely up for that. So just reach out and we can make some time to have a conversation with you and just talk through anything that you have questions about or concerns about, or anything you want to just double check before you book your space.
It's a really good chat, and we enjoy those calls more than other people, I think, sometimes, Jane, don't we? So bring on those calls. They're an absolute pleasure.
We just like to chat with you, really. So yeah, give us a buzz and stop us from being lonely.
I mean, we went down a different route there, Jane, but fair play. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much for your time, Ellie. It's been a joy to hear about, and you brought it to life, actually. You always do that. You bring things to life really well with the way you talk about them. So thank you so much for sharing time with us. And I'm sure we'll hear more from you over the next couple of months before the Weekender.
Absolutely.
And can't wait to see some of you on that Weekender as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much, Ellie. And nice to see you, Jo.
Thank you for having me.